Hello again, to everyone on social media. I'm going to be discussing today on the foods that pretty much that I had experience with that cause severe blockages, and how do I try to avoid eating those foods, and if I eat those foods, how I try to eat it properly so I don't get a blockage. Now, basically, I have an ileostomy, so I don't know about ostomy, anything about ostomy. I don't have any damn experience with that. So pretty much, I think a colostomy is totally different from ileostomy. So, like for instance, I have an uncle who has a colostomy bag, but there's certain foods that he told me one time he cannot eat. Like he cannot eat potatoes; they will cause a blockage. But so when you're on a ileostomy, for me, I was always recommended by my doctors, to stay on a low residue diet, right? So now let me just get to the experience that I had with the foods that really caused issues for me, and sometimes they do if I'm not really careful eating them properly. Red meat. It was, if I'm gonna have like steak, right, I would try to have it medium rare, you know, and try to chew on it properly, you know, chew on it for long as I can, make sure it's dissolved, and what I would try to do is, uh, have like a carbonated drink so it could make it go down quick, you know, so like those are one of the foods that I did have that I have came across, understood that hey, this is one of the things that because basically red meat is off my diet, but I love red meat. So uh, that pretty much beef jerkies they could be another. Uh, uh, I had bad experience with them. I had bad experience with any raw fruit that's not well cooked. Like the fruits, if I could eat, it depends on people's body gastric system. Now, all everyone's gastric system is different. Even though there's something could be on your diet, but sometimes your body could react differently. So it cannot be same for me. Uh, what's causing the blockage for me? It might be a different. Maybe your stomach is totally sensitive and it responds differently to that type of a food. So I would, you know, uh, suggest that eat what you. Uh, I mean, whatever causes a blockage, right? That I get from it, it'll be totally. It could be a totally different reason for you that you get a blockage, depending on how the situation is in your stomach. How it digests. In your stomach, how those enzymes digest it, because everyone does not have the same. But I'm just saying the foods that I did come across because I have an ileostomy, and the foods that did cause issues for me. And for instance, nuts, seeds, they could cause it. But if I'm gonna have fruits, I'm gonna try. I will have canned fruits because they're cooked. They're well cooked from the cans. Pretty much that's fine. Dates, they could cause a blockage. They cause a blockage for me plenty of times. Get into issues. Uh, when I had a severe blockage, I remember what really caused a severe blockage twice. Right, I had other blockages, but I had those partial blockages. So one of the two uh, foods that I winded up eating that caused a great blockage was once when I had my ostomy for like almost like you could say it was for like about 6 months already, 7 months, and I started to have I had a Chinese dish mixed vegetables. I said I want to go with something healthy, Chinese mixed vegetables with shrimp, right? I decided to go with that, and and those vegetables are not thoroughly cooked, well cooked, and they're not well done. So I have to be on well cooked, thoroughly cooked vegetables. So I winded up eating that, and after like a couple of hours or 2 3 hours, had a really severe blockage, which is I couldn't even do that at home myself. And that was one of the blockages that caused me to be in the hospital, and have an NG down my tube. I mentioned about the NG tube in in my other video. That was one of those episodes that my first blockage that I had. It caused that for me. And the second blockage that I had was after eating. I had a Whopper, and I remember when I winded up in the hospital and I was admitted for like a couple of nights trying to get rid of the blockage. And I remember the doctor coming and telling me that, the ileostomy has a half a life, so he told me, I guess, if you was going to have the Whopper, you should just went with the cheeseburger. Just have the cheese and you should have avoided the other, like lettuce, tomatoes. Oh, another thing, lettuce. Lettuce is something that really causes a blockage for me, so I try to avoid lettuce. Tomatoes is not a big deal for me. I eat tomatoes, but I think it was the lettuce in there that really, because the hamburger, whatever hamburger you're going to eat, is chopped meat. But basically chopped meat, red meat, if I'm going to eat red meat. I remember my surgeon telling me this 7 years ago before he was going to, after he got he did my surgery, he said, if you're going to decide to have red meat, try to have like lasagna, where the meat is chopped up, where it could go easily pass through and won't cause a blockage. And I try to stay away from high fiber food. Now, lactose. Now, I want to get to lactose. Now, there's some people that have a problem with lactose, right? Me, I don't have a problem with lactose. Like I could go with, it depends. Now, my body does not really respond well to yogurt. Now, I know yogurt is a very healthy item to eat. It's very good for you. It has probiotics. And it does not really work for me, to tell you the truth, folks. It really gives me more. I really wind up getting into issues when I have yogurt. My gastrosystem, my body responds totally different, and I start getting cramps. But I don't face that with ice cream. I just don't. Sometimes I even bring this up to my doctor, my gastro doctor. I don't feel this with, ice cream. I don't know why. But I get that with yogurt. If I have, and, cheesecake, now that's lactose too. I don't get any problem with cheesecake. And I'm also Pakistani American, and also there are Pakistani sweets, right, that have lactose in it. It's one of them is called mithai. It is a very sweet, it's a sweet, delicious pastry, and I wind up eating that, and it's purely milk, and I don't get problems with that, but I get problem with yogurt. So, like I said, there's people that have different people who have ileostomy, the stomach can have a different reaction to it. So, even if the doctor advises you, let your doctor know that. Once I told my doctor, he said, don't eat that if that creates issue for you. So, what are the foods that I consistently... but look, I try not to take some of the healthy diets off my menu. Okay, I try not to take it on because some of these nutrients I think I do need them. But one time I was listening to this gentleman. His name is not coming. I wish I remembered his name. I could bring his name up and say, but he was a great help. If he's out there, he pretty much he said that it's not what you eat, because what you eat when you have an ileostomy is how you eat it. So what I learned off him is that one thing, I try to chew on my food properly. I chew it, but I'm not saying go ahead and do it. Don't check in with your doctor. See how, I ain't no PhD or anything like that, folks. But I'm just saying, sometimes I can eat things that I'm not supposed to be eating, and sometimes I'll be all right. I'll be fine. And one of the methods of that is I chew on my food properly. So I would try to have my meals, even though if you have something that you're eating that you're supposed to, I would try to have my meals, I would take time eating my meal. Like I wouldn't rush. I try not to rush into, but sometimes I do wind up getting into those episodes. There's like a couple of weeks ago, my mom, my caregiver, she made pasta with chopped meat in it, delicious, and mac and cheese. Pretty much, and it was so delicious that I decided not to chew on the food that day. I decided to eat it fast. It was so delicious, and it was so tasty. I wanted to have that extra taste, texture to my taste buds. So I started to go with salad, you know what I'm saying? So I got into pretty good issues. I learned my lesson, I was asking for it, by the way. No one to blame but myself. And corn. Corn is another thing that has always been a problem for me. It does cause blockages, partial blockages. But I'm saying partial, like I explained in my my last video, that how I deal with my partial blockages at home, but sometimes those partial blockages, they could turn into a severe blockage. So these are the foods that I have bad experience with, and that really gave me issues and partial blockages, so. I would say that at the end of this video, the best thing is to always check in with your doctor, your physician, your gastrologist. If you're out there, you have an ileostomy. This is only for the people who have an ileostomy. I don't know anything damn about ostomy, so I'm not going to comment on that, because I have an ileostomy. I live with it. I've been living with it since 2018. I believe for the past 7-8 years I've been living with this. And in my next video, I'll explain how I deal with my ostomy leakages, ileostomy leakages, and how I able to have that challenge, and how I'm able to beat those odds every day-to-day basis. So other than that, be safe and try not to get blockages. And if you do get a blockage, even a partial one, call your doctor up. Okay. Peace be to everyone.